Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Ano ba yan? Late na nga at nakuha pang mag-almasal sa office. Yes, this is my routine as a project engineer here in Singapore. Konting gawa ng reports, office works, and then go to site. Madalas pang ang taga-xerox at taga-photocopy Pero okay lang. Kasi part na din yun ng trabaho natin. As bonus nga lang. Tapos kung kailan gusto mo mag-site walk, saka naman uulan. Diba? Ang galing. Yes, tumila ng ulan. Pwede tayo lumabas at mag-site walk. Ito nga pala ang ating trabaho dito. So we are handling deep excavation works, which is sewer diversion. And for today's video, explain natin paano makahanap ng trabaho dito sa Singapore as civil engineer. I am John. I'm working as a private engineer here in Singapore. So I'm gonna share you how to find a job here in Singapore as a civil engineer. And I will give some tips na rin kung paano kayo makakahanap ng trabaho, not only related to civil engineering but as in general. So just to give you a brief background, in the Philippines, after graduating from my second degree, which is sanitary engineering, dun pala ako nag-start mag-work, and I was offered to work in a small construction business, handling vertical structures. Siguro mga naka 1 year din ako doon. And then lumipat ako ng company, so napunta naman ako sa facility and maintenance. So engineer din ako doon, handling condominium. Then, after that, napunta na sa teaching yung experience ko. So, I was been in academic for 4 years din ata. So, medyo sabog yung experience ko. Then, after that, I went here in Singapore to find a better opportunity. Since ganun yung experience ko, so medyo alinlangan ako kasi parang hindi ko alam kung saan ako mapupunta ang work. Pero, dito kasi sa Singapore, if you're a civil engineer, most likely mapupunta ka sa site or sa construction business. So maraming job category here or opportunity here for a civil engineer. So hindi lang siya for construction. Mostly mga kilala ko dito is under contracts din or yung tinatawag nilang QS, which is the quantity surveyor. The other one is the design. And of course, structural design yun. And then meron tayong tinatawag na mga technical guys. So, yung mga naging inspector dito. And yung mga inspector is under ng client side. So, parang sila yung third party. And then, we have the so-called planners. So, sila yung sa mga contracts din and planning. So, doon sila. So, maraming scope dito. Malawak ang opportunity for civil engineer. Pero, ang kwento nga natin is how to find a job here in Singapore. So, let us start. So, during my time, so I was looking for opportunity here in Singapore. That was 2015 pa. So almost 7 years ago kasi last quarter ako pumunta dito. So noong time na yun is tourist lang ako. So ngayon kasi hindi man na siya magagawa. Mostly, nag-hire sila from other country pa rin ngayon. Pero due to COVID nga, so hindi ka na pwede makapag-tourist dito. Kasi pag nag-tourist ka, kailangan mo at least 30 days ka na dito. So possible pa rin naman pero ngayon mahirap pa. Then as a Filipino nga, we don't need visa to enter Singapore. So you will be given a 30 days to stay here. And syempre, during your stay here, kailangan meron kang titirahan for 30 days. So to cut the story short, so kailangan prepared ka ng mga time na nandito ka as tourist and naghahanap ng work. Then since 2022 na nga, so ano ba yung scenario ngayon? So most likely, yung mga taga dito naghahanap ng mga engineer sa Pinas through professional networking platform o yung minsan tinatawag nating LinkedIn or yung job street. Most likely yung mga kakilala kong bago dito, so na-hire sila through LinkedIn. So direct sila sa company, pero since mahirap nga pumasok ngayon dito yung pandemic, So, nire-refer sila sa agency para makapasok sila dito sa Singapore. And sila na yung mag-process ng papers kasi nga medyo strict ngayon yung regulation. So, going back to my experience, so, nakwento ko nga na ang aking job before is in academe and short term lang tayo sa industry ng construction. So, I was looking for any available job related to civil engineering that time. That time, hindi ako masyadong confident kasi nga, ang ikli lang ng site experience ko. Pero sabi ko, kahit anong job na lang na related sa civil engineering, kukunin ko na. So, I was running out of time na kasi magta 30 days na ako dito that time. Then, luckily, tumawag sa akin, naghahanap daw sila ng engineer. So, tinawagan na ako for interview. So, hindi ko pa alam kung what type of engineer yung hinahanap nila. So, luckily, nung pagpunta ko is pinaging nag-interview. So, pinakitaan ko lang siya ng ibang skills. Actually, hininga niya ako ng hands-on sa ads o sa design applications. So, luckily, may konting alam ako. So, since Pinoy siya, so tinulungan niya akong ma-hire that time. That's it. Yun yung una ko naging job, structural design engineer. Pero sa totoo lang, hindi ko talaga gusto yung linya ng work na yun kasi nahihirapan talaga ako sa design. So swerte pa rin kahit pa paano kasi may tumulong. Hindi ba tumulong kasi nakuha ko pa rin siya by my own. Pero at least hindi pinahirapan, di ba? And then after that, saka na lang ako naghanap ng ibang work na gusto ko. And luckily, I found it. And here in my present company, magpo 4 years na ako, di ba? Ang bilis. So, by luck lang. So, how to find a job here related to your experience? First of all, so dapat alam nyo yung tatahakin yung path. Kasi, we know civil engineer has a broad scope. So, dapat alam nyo yung scope na pupuntahan nyo. For my example, so I'm in line with site construction. So yung hinanap ko talang job is related sa site. So I was looking for site engineer and project engineer. Then kasi ang titingnan ng mga nag-hire dito is yung working experience mo. If you're a newly grad with no experience, so mahirapan ka talaga maghanap ng work dito. In our line of job, so yung mga hinahanap nilang engineer mostly dito, lalo sa construction, is at least may 3 years experience sa site, kahit sa Pinas. Kasi kapag medyo kulang pa sa 3 years, hindi sila mako-convince na knowledgeable ka. So, ganun sila dito. Tinitingnan nila sa resume mo is yung job experience mo. So, how to find a job here in Singapore now in 2022? So, first is to build your resume, right? Since you are looking for a job, so you must know what kind of job you are looking for. Since I'm a foreigner here in Singapore, so dapat alam ko kung ano yung job na papasukan ko. So, to find a job, so first nga is yung resume natin, i-build natin. After that, you look for a professional networking sites. So, ito yung mga site na tinitingnan ko most likely. So, we have the Job Street, Jobs TV, and then we have the Straight Times, classified ads. This is not a website, this is an application here in Singapore. So it is based from the Diario or yung newspaper nila dito. Actually, the newspaper is very helpful here. So may mga gumagawa pa niyan lalo dati. Magtitingin sila sa Diario, sa classified ads actually, kung ano yung mga vacancy. And then, right there, may mga nakalagay na phone number and email address where you can send your resume. Most common is the Job Street. So, sa Job Street, nakalagay na yung mga scope and yung mga duties and responsibilities na mga hinahanap nila kung ano mang job yung ina-applyan mo. So, based on that, so i-align mo lang yung resume mo kung ano yung mga nakita mo sa Job Street. Pero, papagandahin mo pa. Then, if someone is interested in your resume, they will call you or send you an email. So, be ready lang or be alert kasi minsan unknown number yung tatawag sa'yo. And then, yung email nyo, so kailangan alerting kayo kasi minsan sa spam siya papasok. Then, after getting an invite for interview, so syempre, be on time or be earlier. At least 10 minutes earlier then the time of appointment. Then kasi yung interview dito, most of the time, it starts with the HR. Then, if you pass, so ipapasa ka nila sa magiging manager mo or sa technical team. So that will be the second interview. So sometimes there is a final interview pa. So 3 interview in total. So yung sa pinaka-boss mo or dun sa may-ari ng company. So depende yan. So kapag small company lang, sometimes 1 interview lang or 2. Pero kung multinational company or napakalaking company dito sa Singapore, so pwede na yung 3 interview. So matagal yung process. Most of the time, it will take 1 month or less or 2 weeks. Interview pa lang yon. So sa government naman dito, mas matagal. Because I worked in the government din dito before. So mostly yung application tumagal ng 6 months. Kasi after the interview, hindi pa agad nila ikaw ipag-start. Kasi antayin pa nila yung project kung sa kanila i-assign. After interview and you are hired, so hindi pa doon matatapos ang kalbaryo mo. Because after hiring, ipaprocess pa nila yung papers mo. So kukunin nila sa iyo yung diploma mo, TOR or Transcript of Records, certificates. So yung certificates is mahalaga. So training, actually OJT. Actually OJT dito is tinitingnan din nila. Kasi parang experience mo na yun o working experience mo na rin yun. And then yung mga other affiliations mo. Pero since nag-work ka na dati, hindi ka naman fresh graduate. So yung mga affiliations mo parang hindi na siya ganun ka-counted dito. So more likely yung trainings and certificates yung pinagbabasihan nila for a good candidate. So dito, all the documents can be sent by email. So pwede siyang scan copy lang. Pero hingin din nila yung original for confirmation. So after nila makuha yung mga documents na hinihingi nila, so ipaprocess nila yon sa website ng MOM or yung tinatawag na Ministry of Manpower. So sa Ministry of Manpower, sila yung magde-decide if you will be given a work visa here. Also, by the way, the work visa here is categorized into 3 types. So we have the work permit, the S-Pass, and the E-Pass. Itong 3 pass na to is nakadepende sa sahod. Minsan, dinedepende nila sa degree. So, depende sa company, hindi ko rin alam masyado. Pero, mostly mga skilled workers namin sa construction is work permit. Then yung mga staff, mga engineers is S-Pass. And then yung mga managers most likely or matataas mga director na is E-Pass. So yung E-Pass is talaga yung pinakamataas dito. So kami mga nasa katamtaman lang is S-Pass. So MOM will update you if your work visa is approved within 10 to 14 working days. So hindi included dun yung Saturdays and Sundays. So meaning you have to wait at least 2 to 3 weeks kung ma-approve yung visa mo. So after approval, so doon ka pa lang pwede mag-start ng work. Depende sa company kung kailangan ka na nila right after ma-approve ng visa mo. So after approval ng work visa mo, so hindi pa nila may pa-process yung mismong visa mo. So you will be given an IPA or yung tinatawag nating in principle approval ng work visa mo. Papel lang siya na indicating na approved na yung work visa mo, pero wala ka pa nung identification card na nagsisilbing work visa mo. So yung IPA mo is valid for 1 month. So after a month, kailangan i-apply na ng employer mo yon para mabigyan ka ng NRIC or yung work visa card mo. So ganito siya. Ayan. So yung maliit na card na yun, yung magiging work visa mo or yung tinatawag mo ng national ID nila dito or yung magiging work ID mo. Siyempre, bukod pa yun sa company ID mo. Then after that, to process that card, so kailangan mo pang pumunta ng MOM. So after obtaining your work visa card, so pwede ka na mag-start ng work. Sometimes yung iba, after IPA, pinag-start na nga nila ng work. Then congratulations, you are hired already. So, yun nga yung kwento ko sa inyo. Yung experience ko dati is as a tourist, naghanap ako ng work dito. And then, walang kasiguraduhan yun. But luckily, nakahanap tayo. So, during that time, you need budget to stay here as a tourist. Kasi hindi biro yung pagkain, then yung bahay na titirahan mo dito. Pero ngayon, impossible na yun kasi nga bawal ang overstay tourist dito. Kasi dati kapag overstay ka, mapapauwi ka. Since pandemic nga, hirap din makapag-tourist dito due to the requirements. So most of yung mga kakilala ko is naghahanap through LinkedIn. So doon sila nakakahanap ng work and then nakakapunta dito. So marami na ulit Pinoy ang nakapasok ng Singapore for work. So yun lang naman. So yun yung na-share kong experience ko dito for finding a job in Singapore. So kung may mga tanong kayo, so please comment it down to the comment section. And by the way, kung may magtanong siguro, nakagraduate ako ng civil engineering. Pwede ba ako maghanap ng ibang work? Yes, pwede po. Pero depende nga sa MOM kung i-approve nila o hindi. Kasi minsan ina-align nila sa relevancy ng natapos mo yung work experience mo. Pwede naman kung may work experience kasi ibang field and yun yung in-applyan mo dito. Pero iba yung natapos mo. Pwede nila i-credit yun. So yun lang naman for today's video. So kung may iba pa kayong gustong malaman, so tanong nyo lang. So as much as I want to share my civil engineering experience here in Singapore sa ating mga videos, ating mga vlog. Sana may natutunan kayo. So hindi ka naman masasabing ma-enjoy nyo to. So that's it. So dito na siguro natin tapusin tong video na to. So once again, I am John, your civil engineer here in Singapore. Bye guys!